It all started on March 6th of 2021, and when I search how long it's been since then, Google tells me it's been over 1,000 days. I've been in pain for 1,000 days, and in this video, I'll be sharing 4 main key takeaways, and in the end, I'll actually share my biggest piece of advice of how to reduce your pain or how to avoid pain in general. Anybody else feel like they're getting older way too fast? Well, I used to feel like that, but not anymore. Especially in the age of social media, we're made to believe that we're getting older way too quick and that we're not hitting our goals in time and all the achievements that we wanted to achieve. But that's not the full reality, and I've only come to realize that due to my chronic pain journey. It all started on March 6th of 2021, and although it's been a very, very long time, I've actually got to learn a lot of lessons throughout this time. And as a result, I feel like my mind is actually aging way faster than my physical body is. In this video, I'll be sharing most of my knowledge with you so that you're also able to take away some of the amazing lessons that I've learned over these past 1,000 days. So right off the bat, one of the biggest takeaways is to focus on what's the most important thing to focus on at the moment. Now what that means is in our life we're always bombarded by so many things to do, so many commitments, so many goals that we want to achieve that we get sort of distracted in terms of what to focus on at the moment. And what I've learned is if you keep that one important thing in mind throughout your day and achieve that, then you feel a lot more better about your day and how your week is going. Now, where this relates to chronic pain is I noticed that the biggest thing that I should be focusing on, which is my health, that's not what my focus was throughout the day. I was trying to make YouTube videos, sitting through long hours of editing and shooting my videos, which was definitely not what I should have been doing, because my main priority was to be building this community online and to be building these YouTube videos, whereas the main priority that I should have had was my health. And if I focused on my health, maybe I would have actually been able to continue on my YouTube journey beforehand instead of having to all of a sudden stop. So I've made this mistake in the past of trying to push through the pain and try to focus and prioritize too many things. And ultimately, I've noticed that now, although I have so many different priorities that I need to focus on, now that I've been focusing on my health and making sure I'm getting up, going on daily walks, walking around rather than sitting for a long period of time, I have the least amount of pain that I've ever had in the past, which is a huge win for me. For you, what you can really take away from this point is that in your day, just prioritize that one thing that you should have your main focus on. And if you achieve that, then you've had actually a very great day. The second thing that I've learned is not to set the same standards for yourself compared to when you were completely healthy or you were completely in a state of mind of peace. What I mean by this is I'm not saying don't push yourself. What you need to do is realize that currently your body is not at its full capacity as compared to what it usually used to function at. So you need to respect that and you need to acknowledge that rather than just thinking that you can just push through the pain and do whatever you want to do that you used to be able to do. I remember that early on in my chronic pain journey, I had listened to the audiobook by David Goggins and I felt super motivated that, one should push themselves through the pain and pain is only temporary. And sure, although he has some great teachings about self-control and focus and determination in his book, but trying to fight through pain is not the best approach to have for yourself. Although I was in this really ill and painful situation, I was trying to do the same things that Jatin before the pain used to be able to do. And as a result, not only was I not able to accomplish those things, but I was in more pain than ever before. Eventually, when this chronic pain started to build up, I found myself actually getting stressed. And as a result, it turned into a toxic cycle of the stress adding to the pain and the pain adding to the stress. And that was just no good. Ultimately, when your health is compromised or you're going through a rough time, your mental caliber is not able to match your physical caliber, or vice versa, such as your physical caliber not being able to match your mental caliber. And that was actually the case for me. Although mentally I was this smart individual, very driven individual who had just gotten accepted into medical school and was ready to take on business and his medical studies, physically I wasn't able to sit for a long period of time or set up a camera and bend over while looking at the framing. That would cause a lot of pain for me. So my mental caliber was way faster than what my physical abilities were. And this would result in a lot of mental stress. This is actually a psychological principle where if your mental thinking is not matching what your physical actions are, that can cause a lot of stress in your brain. And especially if you're an individual who's suffering chronic pain like I have been, there might be a lot of changes as well, such as your physical looks, such as your well-being and your routine. So you need to keep all these changes into mind and set the realistic standards that you're capable of. Otherwise, you're just going to keep stressing yourself out thinking, why am I not able to do all these things that I used to be able to do? So finally, just putting my ego aside and realizing that I'm not able to function at the full capacity really allowed myself to accept who I currently am and meet myself at that moment. What this allowed me to do is set the standard a bit lower. That actually helped me alleviate my stress as well. I never used to be a person that used to stress about things in life. One standard that I had to set myself lower for was actually helping other people. I remember in previous years, I used to help so many people during their medical school interview prep, but I realized that I'd have to wake up early to meet their time zone. That would result in me compromising my sleep. I'd have to sit for that 1 to 2 hours of that interview prep help with them and really stay alert. And this would result in some really bad lower back pain and was not contributing to my well-being. So although I used to set this high standard of myself of being able to not only help myself, but help other people, I had to tone down on that, which was actually a very, very difficult thing for me to do. The third takeaway, which is a very, very interesting one. This is, I think, the biggest takeaway that I've had in general. Similar to the second point of setting standards is that don't set the same standards from other people either. You're going through a big change in your life and you may not be functioning exactly like how you used to. You might not even act like the way you used to. After all, being present when you're in chronic pain or suffering from any kind of physical ailment is very difficult. So you might not be able to give your full best to the individuals. And due to this, they might not be able to give their best to you. I remember when I used to go to the gym, my days were full of getting compliments. Of course, I was very grateful at that moment, but as soon as I stopped going to the gym, those compliments sort of just kind of drifted away. But the reality is, as humans, we tend to appreciate people that we aspire to be. That's just how the world works, unfortunately. But when you're not winning and when you're not able to put your best out, they might not be able to support you in the same way that they used to. You might actually start drifting away yourself from people. So you need to acknowledge that don't set the same standard of yourself, but also don't expect the same from other people that you used to maybe before. Now, this doesn't mean that you shouldn't expect any kind of support or reach out to people. You should definitely do that, especially during this very, very difficult time for you, which was ultimately a very difficult time for me. It was important to reach out to close family members and friends, but don't take it as personally as I used to at the beginning. At this point in my life, I've realized that everybody has enough on their plate. They're just trying to get by. They have their own unique struggles. If anything, you can use this as an opportunity to reach out to them and see how they're holding up, and use this as a lesson of learning compassion, although you might not be getting the same compassion from them. Now, point number 4 is a very unique mindset, which is to ultimately look at your experience as a human experience. As humans, we're very, very diverse individuals. We're very emotional beings, and we have such different experiences in life that shape us to be the way that we act and the people that we are. And although some things might not work in your favor, for example, in my situation, I was doing great. I was going to the gym, I had a great physique, I was ready to start medical school, I had a great group of friends, I was very, very supportive and helpful to my family. I was a very good contributor to society. And then all of a sudden, due to this pain, a lot changed. And what was interesting is luckily I took on this perspective very, very early on of simply looking at it as my unique human experience. I think where this really stemmed from is I was reading a book about how pigeons, if they lose like a wing or, like lose one of their feet, they don't start sobbing over having lost a limb, but they simply just try to adapt to this. Now, obviously, as humans, we don't think the same way as pigeons do. We're very emotional beings. Of course, if something bad happens to us, it's going to affect us. It's going to affect us mentally, not just physically. The fact that we are emotional is what shows us that we're human. Isn't that sort of beautiful? And that's such a unique experience to get to achieve in this lifetime. And although we may be going through this very, very rough experience, others are actually going through their own unique human experiences that may be way worse than ours is. Life is meant to have its ups and downs, whether it's way on the up or way on the down. We shouldn't be resentful of this very interesting, unique experience that we're getting to encounter. And we shouldn't be regretful of the fact that we have our own unique downs that we have to face. It's simply our own unique experience that we're going to be sharing with the world, sharing with our children, our grandchildren, and getting to enhance their experience through the downfalls that we might have had. This mentality allowed me to just cope with so many things in life, where I realized that although life can be very, very difficult, it's very much worth living. And although we're gonna be inevitably human, we're gonna be emotional, it is a unique opportunity nonetheless, because that's what makes us human. Now, those were sort of the main takeaways that I had. I actually wanted to share a lot of like my chronic pain journey and things that I learned of how to reduce the pain. But I think I'll save a lot of that towards when I'm in medical school and I have more of that base knowledge built up to share that with the world, rather than spreading anything misinformed. But I do want to share one of the biggest tips that's helped me reduce my pain. It's not physio, it's not medicine, it's not getting all these blood tests done and all this other X-ray, MRI done that alters the care, but it's actually very simple and it's for free, which is changing up your lifestyle, changing up your habits of getting a good night's sleep, getting in enough water, eating as healthy as possible by cutting down sugar, keeping your alcohol intake low as well. All of these things make the biggest amount of difference. One thing that I always catch myself doing now is fixing my posture. That's helped me take away like 80% of my neck pain, and ultimately even helps my spine have a good base to it. And my single-handedly best experience of cutting down most of my pain has been due to just fixing up my lifestyle habits. Trust me, I used to go to physio every single day. I've seen dozens of doctors, but it's just fixing up my posture, getting enough sleep. No matter what, I understand sometimes we have late nights, sometimes you have to get up early in the morning, but just make sure that you get enough sleep. It might result in you not having to meet a couple of your commitments. But what good are those commitments if you're just gonna be in pain and if you're not looking after your long-term health? So fix those habits, fix that lifestyle, which is once again completely for free. Physio sessions are very expensive, as you and I both know. So that's actually very empowering that I hope you get to take away from this video, and you'll start implementing right away, because I would really, really enjoy it if you were in less pain, and you're definitely not deserving of this pain. But it's your unique human experience, and it's these lifestyle changes that are ultimately going to make a difference. So that's it for this video. That's what I wanted to share with you all. It's been a very interesting roller coaster of a ride. Roller coasters are fun though, right? Of course, I have so many people that support me and help me get through this in life. If you're someone that doesn't have many people that supports you, just know that, hey, if I were with you, I'd be your #1 supporter, and that's a fact. It's too bad that I can't always be there with you physically to remind you of that and let you know, but you have a friend in me and definitely have the biggest supporter in life in me, okay? Take care, bye-bye.